Starting your property investment journey can be a daunting task. It takes a mixture of time, effort, and careful planning to find the way forward that works for you. Long-term wealth is a long-term reward, so you have to make sure that your strategy is sound over a long period of time. As a property investment firm, we get many questions from aspiring investors, and so last week I had the opportunity to sit down with our CEO Abdul Ahmed to ask him a selection of the most frequently asked questions we receive.
Buy, refurbish, refinance and then rent. That's what BRRR stands for. It is one of our preferred strategies that we propose to our clients, and the way it works is you buy a rundown property that requires a significant amount of work for the sole purpose of adding value to it. So you initially buy it for below market value, you do the refurbishment, which is the second R, and then as you put the value up, as it comes to market value and a little bit above because it's fresh, it's modern, you then go and get a refinance on that particular property, pulling majority of your equity out and then renting it out for cash flow. Now, the biggest benefit of that is you can recycle your cash and continue building your portfolio, especially via the Angels Investment Group. Short answer, no. Long answer, possibly. So the prospects and clients and partners that we work with are those individuals who have got successful businesses, who are in a position where they maybe dabbled in a few property projects before, and they're in a position where they're looking to build their portfolio purely for the sake of long-term generational wealth. However, you may find certain strategies that will allow you to generate quicker cash flow, such as in flips, and consistently you could potentially leave your day job if you delegate a full-time team to that. But all in all, it's not a place to kind of, leave your day job. It's an asset building tool. It's a wealth building tool, and that's the strategy that we go with. It's not necessarily for you to leave your day job. So it's entirely up to you. You can be completely hands-on and be available 24/7 and manage your own properties. However, majority of our clients are completely hands-off. They are never required for anything to do with their properties because they are fully managed and fully handled under the assets that we control. So we'd like to say Manchester. We're based in Manchester and you can see the yields up to 10%. A lot of the areas have sold subject to contract ratios of above 50%, let's agree ratios above 50%. So for us, we're in Manchester, we're going to say Manchester, and it is a very promising place. It's one of the best economies, fastest growing economies in the country, most consistent and on track to achieve the goals that it sets out consistently. It is, yes, if you buy through a limited company, and to structure that effectively and make sure you're able to do that is the kind of information that we provide you and support you with. So the biggest benefit of buying a property through a limited company is purely for the reason of saving on tax, because you can offset your mortgage against the interest. So the negative thing about holding a property in a limited company would be when it comes to the point of selling, you may potentially have to sell as individual units rather than selling the whole company, because the logistics, legalities behind selling a limited company that holds asset is a lot more complicated. So it could cost you a lot more to sell the entire portfolio via limited company. So there's pros and cons for both arguments, and the best way to decide on exactly how you should structure that and buy would be aligned to your long-term plan and how you want to pursue that. Of course, it will have some sort of effect on the value of the property. It could be, when you say aesthetic decorations, it could just be having the property furnished, which would mean you can charge a little bit more, but to add significant value to the property, you might need to do a little bit more than just aesthetic decorations. So when a lot of people are selling, investors, companies, individuals, that's the time for you to actually buy. However, with property, the fluctuations in the market are not very significant. Even in recessions like now, as you can see, there aren't big drops purely because of the need for housing. So when people are selling and there is a slight drop, you should be in a position to invest more, put more money in. But like I said, it really depends on your long-term goal, on your strategy, on how you want to build your portfolio. But short answer is yes, definitely buy when people are selling. So ideally, coming in and partnering with us, you need a minimum of around £80,000. Purely because of the fact that, as mentioned before, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a place where you're going to build long-term generational wealth. So we expect you to come with some level of sophistication, a good level of experience with investing, with managing your finances. However, if you completely don't have an experience, regardless, that still means that you will still need a minimum of £80,000. As a rule of thumb, that's where we'd like to start. However, we can assist you if you do have lower funds than that and get you to the point where you're in a position to invest in some real estate. We can support you with the bridging loans, etc. But ultimately, they will have an effect on your end profit margins. So the short answer is minimum 80,000, but we can work with you to see what we can do. Yes, you can invest in the UK as a non-UK citizen. However, if there are issues with you opening a bank account here, we are partnered with a few companies that can support you with that, and then you can put capital within those bank accounts. And like I said, these conversations we'd have with foreign investors, and we'd be able to assist you and get you over the line for sure.
Gotcha. That's everything.
Cool, perfect.
All right. The most important ingredient for a solid investment strategy is information. And the right information can be hard to come by, but we here at the Angels Investment Group believe that everyone deserves access to information that can lead to long-term wealth. Especially when it comes to property investment, learning is earning.